Good evening and welcome to Reporters Corner. I'm Amrit Pal Singh. This is a show that we bring you every evening at 6:30 on DD India and DD News, where we tell you what are the big stories of the day, and we go to our reporters across the length and breadth of the country to get a perspective and ground report on what the latest situation on the development is. Let's begin with Kerala. A painful incident took place in the Rajmala area of Idukki district in Kerala. After continuous rains in the state, there was a landslide in this area. This morning, many workers have gone missing in this accident. A massive rescue and relief work is on. 15 bodies have been recovered so far from the mishap site. The 14 persons that you're seeing have been admitted in a private hospital. Persons are said to be trapped. More than 80 persons are said to be trapped inside beneath the earth. The victims are tea plantation laborers and their families. The state government has rushed a 50-member team comprising of fire services personnel from Kochi and 15 ambulances to the site. However, poor weather and heavy rain conditions are hampering the operations. 2 teams of the NDRF are in Idukki for the relief and rescue operations. As of now, as we speak, the rescue operations are currently on, but we are told that the rains are hampering the situation. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has tweeted and expressed his grief. He's said that the tragic landslide he's expressed grief over the tragic landslide in Kerala's Idukki. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter to express his grief over the incident. The Prime Minister said, and I quote, "I'm pained by the loss of lives due to landslide in Rajmalai in Idukki. In this hour of grief, my thoughts are with the bereaved families. May the injured recover quickly. NDRF and the administration are working on the ground, providing assistance to those affected." Also, the Prime Minister announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund. In his tweet, he said, and I quote him, "Ex gratia of rupees 2 lakh each from the PM NRF would be given to the next of kin of those who have lost their lives due to landslide in Rajmalai in Idukki. 50,000 rupees each would be given to those injured due to this landslide." This is what the Prime Minister tweeted. And meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah also in a tweet condoled the incident and spoke to DG NDRF about the current situation in Idukki. The Home Minister said, and I quote, "Condolences to the bereaved families of those who lost their lives in Rajamalai in Idukki in Kerala due to the landslide. Have spoken to DG NDRF and their team has reached the spot to provide all possible assistance to the administration with the rescue work. May the injured recover soon." And for more on that story, we are joined by our correspondent Ajay Joy, who joins us from Thiruvananthapuram for more on that story. Ajay, first of all, we are getting news that there are 15 confirmed dead as of now. If we could clear the facts with us, how many are believed to be trapped and what is the death count as of now?
Yes, that's the latest update from here. It's 15 confirmed deaths. 15 bodies have been recovered so far as of now. And good news is that the authorities could save 3 more people. So the total injured, or rather the survivors of the whole incident, is 15. And it's believed that 48 more people are feared to be trapped inside the hub bridge. And the rescue operations are still going on. One NDRF team is already reaching this particular place.
Ajay, I'll stop you. We'll talk about the rescue operations, but you're saying 15 bodies retrieved as of now, 48 are still believed to be trapped under the earth, and there are 14 who are admitted into the hospital. Is that right?
There are 15 survivors, so 15 injured actually.
Okay, 15 injured. All right. Please tell us about the rescue operations. The Home Minister has said that he's spoken to DG NDRF. I understand that NDRF teams are already on the ground. What about the state administration? Give us a sense of the rescue operations going on at the site, at the mishap site right now.
The state administration has also dispatched its fire rescue teams. A centralized team was sent from Ernakulam and Aleppi, and they were in the action from morning onwards. But right now, as it is clear that red alert is still in the district, and the rain is still there, and it is hampering. Initially, the difficulty was in accessing this area because the motorable road to this area was completely destroyed in the rain. And adding to the sad fact that the whole area, there was no electricity for last 3 days because of the rain.
Okay.
And because of this particular incident actually happened today early morning, but the outside world came to know about it even after 4 or 5 hours even. So that really hampered the survival rate also in this tragic incident.
All right, Ajay, many thanks for joining us and giving us this update. You keep tracking the story. We'll keep coming back to you for more on that. Let's now look at the other big story of the day, delivering the inaugural address at the conclave on transformational reforms in higher education under the National Education Policy through video conference. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the National Education Policy will connect education with our national values and make our youth future ready, and will establish strong foundation for new India of the 21st century.
राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 21वीं सदी के भारत की नए भारत की फाउंडेशन तैयार करने वाली है। 21वीं सदी के भारत को हमारे युवाओं और हमारे युवाओं को जिस तरह की एजुकेशन की जरूरत है, जैसी स्किल्स चाहिए, राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति पर इन बातों पर विशेष फोकस है।
Emphasizing further on the aim of the National Education Policy 2020, Prime Minister said that the effort is now to emphasize on the inquiry-based, discovery-based, discussion-based and analysis-based methods for children to learn. He also added that it will increase the urge to learn in children and will also increase their participation in the class.
साथियों, अभी तक जो हमारी शिक्षा व्यवस्था है, उसमें व्हाट टू थिंक, मैं बहुत जिम्मेवारी से बोल रहा हूं, व्हाट टू थिंक पर फोकस रहा है, जबकि इस शिक्षा नीति में हाउ टू थिंक उस पर बल दिया जा रहा है। ये मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि आज जिस दौर में हम, और ये दौर ऐसा है जहां इंफॉर्मेशन और कंटेंट की कोई कमी नहीं है, एक प्रकार से बाढ़ आई हुई है। हर प्रकार की जानकारी आपके मोबाइल फोन पर अवेलेबल है। जरूरी ये है कि कौन सी जानकारी हासिल करनी है, क्या पढ़ना है। इस बात को ध्यान में रखकर ही राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में प्रयास किया गया है कि जो पढ़ाई के लिए लंबा चौड़ा सिलेबस होता है, ढेर सारी किताबें होती हैं, उसकी अनिवार्यता को कम किया जाए। अब कोशिश ये है कि बच्चों को सीखने के लिए इंक्वायरी बेस्ड, डिस्कवरी बेस्ड, डिस्कशन बेस्ड और एनालिसिस बेस्ड तरीकों पर जोर दिया जाए।
The Prime Minister said that with the medium of education being the native language, the students will be able to have stronger foundations for the future.
इस बात में कोई विवाद नहीं है कि बच्चों के घर की बोली और स्कूल में पढ़ाई की भाषा एक ही होने से बच्चों के सीखने की गति बेहतर होती है। ये एक बहुत बड़ी वजह है जिसकी वजह से जहां तक संभव हो 5th क्लास तक बच्चों को उनकी मातृभाषा में ही पढ़ाने पर सहमति दी गई है। इससे बच्चों को और बच्चों की नींव तो मजबूत होगी ही, उनके आगे की पढ़ाई के लिए भी उनका बेस और मजबूत होगा।
The digital conclave was also addressed by Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal. The Education Minister said that the national education policy will establish India as a knowledge-based society and will make India a superpower. He said that now India is on the path of becoming a superpower under Prime Minister Modi's leadership. The world is also acknowledging that.
हम लोग पूरे विश्व के प्रतिस्पर्धा में कहीं पीछे नहीं हैं। आत्म भरोसे के साथ नरेंद्र मोदी जी की अगुवाई में, उनके संरक्षण में, उनके मार्गदर्शन में जिस तरीके से सारे विश्व में भारत का नाम ऊंचा हो रहा है, जिस तरीके से भारत एक महाशक्ति के रूप में स्थापित हो रहा है, मुझे भरोसा है कि जो हमारी ये नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 आया है, जिसमें पूरे देश का जनमानस उत्सव और उल्लास मना रहे, ये हमारी जो नई शिक्षा नीति आ रही है, ये भारत को एक ज्ञान आधारित महाशक्ति के रूप में स्थापित करेगा। जब पूरी दुनिया को भारत पर गर्व होगा।
And the Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank released the UGC guidelines for higher education institutions to offer apprenticeship and internship embedded degree program. Speaking on the occasion, the minister highlighted the key aspects of the national education policy. The minister said that the National Research Foundation will be set up, which will catalyze and energize research and innovation across academic disciplines. NRF NEP will ensure the overall research ecosystem in the country is strengthened. And for more on that story, I'm joined by my colleague Arun Sharma. Arun Sharma, if we look at what the Prime Minister said in his address today, he basically said that earlier the focus was on what to think. Now the focus in the 2020 policy would be how to think, analysis-based, discussion-based, for children to look at how to develop thinking skills.
Absolutely. If we just try to simplify what exactly Prime Minister said, the focus was that education is different from knowledge. Till now, the focus was on bookish knowledge. You grasp everything, you write everything, you get numbers. But now the focus is more on practical knowledge. The focus is more on research. The focus is more on you getting internship, hands-on experience, practical knowledge while studying. So these are some of the focuses or highlights of the national education policy. Well, if you look at the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address today, we can categorize it to four different parts. Number one is, of course, modernization. For last 3 decades, there was no modernization as far as education policy is concerned. So now the government has modernized this education policy, which includes artificial intelligence, which also includes hands-on experience and training along with your education and your classes. Number two is flexibility. Till now, the focus was that if in case you are a science student, you can't study commerce subject or art subject. But now with maths, you can study music. With physics subject, you can study the art subject. Now, also the focus is on from moving from 10+2 curriculum to a 5+3+3+4 curriculum. So that's an important part. So it provides flexibility to the students to whatever subjects or whatever his passion is, he can follow that passion. Third important aspect is of languages. Till now, the focus was on English language primarily. That means if in case you know English language, you were treated well. You were teachers used to think that yes, you have knowledge, you have a lot of knowledge. But now the mode of language will be your regional languages, so that the regional languages will get a major push going forward. Students can learn in their respective regional languages till the class 5th. So that's an important part that a Prime Minister has talked about. And last but not the least, it is all about access. The government is focusing that each and every student of our country do get access not only to the education part, but to the world-class and quality education. Lab access is one of that part. So the students who are living in far-flung areas in tier 2, tier 3 towns, they will also get access to world-class education. That's what the national education policy highlights as of now. So these are some of the highlights that Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked about in today's address. Amrit.
Arun, the Prime Minister said that the new education policy will connect education with our national values and will make youth future ready and to establish a strong foundation for a new India of the 21st century. What does he mean by establishing a connect with the national values?
Well, when we talk about, or just to simplify this further, when modernity blends with culture, or when future connects you with your roots, This is something what Prime Minister Narendra Modi meant. We are no doubt creating world-class product. We are trying to interconnect with the global ecosystem that's in place as of now, but we are not also forgetting our roots of education. We'll be learning. That means if we look at the languages, we will be learning languages in our mother tongue. Regional languages will also get a major push. But on the other side, the world-class universities will also come to our country. There will be a red carpet welcome to this university, world-class university. They can open the campuses here. World-class technologies will be, built in over here. Artificial intelligence is a thrust area. Last but not the least, Amrit, let's try to understand in a very simplified manner. When we used to study, there was no hands-on experience, there was no practical training, there was no internship while we were in school. But the national education policies of now also focuses on internship, vocational learning,
so make it practical
so make it more practical in approach. That's what this focus is of the NEP, and that's the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi clearly said that this will improve the thinking ability of the student and will also connect the culture and the modernity part as well.
All right, Arun, we leave it there. Many thanks for joining us and giving us a perspective on the story that the Prime Minister addressed the higher education conclave today. Let's turn focus to Mumbai now. Actor Rhea Chakraborty, who's accused of abetting suicide of actor Sushant Singh Rajput, appeared before the Enforcement Directorate in Mumbai in connection with the money laundering case lodged by it. Actor Rhea Chakraborty today appeared before the ED, as I said, after the ED rejected her request to defer questioning in the Rajput's death case. She's being questioned by ED about her bank details, alleged mishandling of Sushant's money and his bank accounts, details of her properties purchased after coming in contact with Sushant Singh Rajput, and the investments done by her during this period. The ED is probing the charges made by Sushant's family against the actor and will look into the alleged 15 crore rupees withdrawal from Sushant's account. Earlier, the CBI had filed an FIR in which Rhea has been named along with others in a case of alleged money laundering. Rhea is also accused of abetment of suicide, cheating and criminal breach of trust in the FIR. And for more on that story, I'm joined by my colleague Yogesh Sheetal, who joins us from Mumbai for more on that story. Yogesh, I understand the questioning of Rhea Chakraborty is still on at the ED office in Mumbai. How long has it been going on, and what are your sources telling you that on what lines is this questioning going on? Is she cooperating with the investigating agency?
See, Amrit, what we are getting from our sources that Rhea is not, cooperating with the investigation, and that is definitely a very important point in this case, because generally, if you just compare IPC and ED in PMLA, basically PMLA which is handled by ED. In IPC, basically the onus is on the prosecution to just held accused guilty, but in PMLA case, basically the onus is on the accused to establish that he is innocent. So in this case, if Rhea doesn't cooperate, as we are getting from our sources, then it is very much likely that ED may detain her later on, since as we know that it's been around 6 hours the questionings are still on since the time Rhea appeared. However, she was forced to appear, in fact, because earlier, as you have also rightly mentioned, that she just put a request to postpone the hearing, but ED turned down the request and saying that she has to appear, and that's the reason she had no option. Otherwise, ED could have moved court for warrant, and then the further way for Rhea Chakraborty would be more difficult. So as of now, the questionings are still on. I think let's wait and watch that when it concludes, and only then thereafter we could get some exact exact confirmation about the report that what was the questioning. But one thing which is very clear, the ED is basically trying to ascertain the trails, the money trails, the 15 crore rupees that KK Singh, father of Sushant, has alleged in the FIR, that 15 crore rupees have been transferred from Rhea's account to different accounts. So who are these accounts? If any companies have been set up with the help of Sushant Singh Rajput and Rhea's brother, then what are the company into? Whether it is a shell company, who are the employees there, what basically the companies are into. So there are a number of details, and also the ITR details has been sought by the Enforcement Directorate that we are getting from our sources. So these are the basically information that it is trying to find out, and it remains to be seen that how much time it takes to conclude the questioning of ED. Yeah.
Is she also being questioned about her travel, because she did a lot of international travel along with her brother? That's what reports say, media reports say. Could the ED is the ED likely to question on, where did the money come from, who paid for that travel, for the expenses?
See, Amrit, ED is not only questioning Riya Chakravarti, but also other people are there. So basically, the confrontation of a statement, and ED is trying to find out the contradictions. Is there any contradiction? Is there any contradictory statements? So as far as traveling is concerned, as far as her previous records are concerned, as far as purchase of properties are concerned, as far as some other transactions are concerned, so it's a broad investigation by the enforcement director. So it is not confined to a particular thing and or any particular account. There were 4 accounts of Sushant Singh Rajput and the Kotak Mahindra Bank, the bank where the money has been allegedly transferred from Kotak Mahindra Bank, Sushant Singh Rajput's account to Riya account. So there are 4 bank accounts, and then the complete trail of money, the trace of the money, where it where the entire money gone, and then what happened to that money, who are the stakeholder of that money, whether it was funded, whether there's anything fundraising in that money. So there are number of points, and there are different dots. So it is basically trying to connect the dots, and if the agency finds anything suspicious, suspicious, then definitely the agency will move ahead to the court and the legal conclusion. Yeah.
All right, Yogesh, we'll leave it there. Many thanks. You keep a track of these developments. We'll keep getting back to you for more information on that. So that's it in Reporters Corner for today. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow evening 6:30 with Reporters Corners to get you reports from across the country from our reporters. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.